Welcome to this session where we're going to take a walk through Revel. Created to transform the way students engage with their essential course reading, Revel is a fully digital, interactive learning environment which brings together trusted content, quizzes, videos, and other activities in one seamless experience. It places a digital resource that is far beyond the capabilities of an e-book into your hands and the hands of your students. With Revel, you're able to assign reading and activities in such a way that students come to class prepared and ready to participate in higher learning. More and more, lecturers tell us that one of their biggest struggles is getting students to read, which means that they have to spend their lecture or seminar time covering the basics instead of being able to explore the more interesting, challenging areas of their course. Revel has been created upon solid learning design principles to help students in disciplines where reading is absolutely core to success, but where students often struggle and disengage from doing that reading. Revel enables you as a lecturer to provide engaging content to motivate your students, tailor the course reading to your own teaching, see where your students are struggling, and ultimately use your face-to-face teaching time more effectively by motivating students to come to lectures and seminars much better prepared. So let's actually look at Revel. This screen shows you what a course looks like when assignments have been set up. Students see exactly the same thing as a lecturer, except these Add Content and Course Settings buttons. Students often tell us that they are time poor and they want to know that they're spending their time on the areas that are most relevant for their course and which will help them do well in their studies. Unlike an e-book or a printed textbook, you can use Revel to signpost really clearly to your students what they should be studying, giving them a real focus. So students tell us that this assignment ribbon that you can see on the bottom helps them to stay on top of deadlines and saves them time in searching for the relevant core materials so that they can grasp the key concepts and then go on to read more widely. As a lecturer, you can assign whole chapters or parts of chapters to suit your teaching style. So some examples of how you might use Revel in a course. You might assign content before a lecture to support flipped learning. If you're already doing flipped learning and have created videos, the content within Revel could be a good way to give students more grounding in the theory or to read further around the theory. Or you could continue to teach as you do currently, so suggesting students read chapters after a lecture, but with Revel you can actually assign those chapters and see who's reading them. Let's now take a closer look at how the content within Revel has been designed to motivate students and help strengthen their understanding. Firstly, each chapter opens with a short video. For example, this could be someone in industry discussing strategy in the real world. It's designed to engage your learners, to hook them in, set the context, and really bring the topic to life for them. Some things to talk about while we're looking at this first screen. There is a lot of white space in Revel, and this clean design look is really deliberate. It's to ensure that we're not overwhelming students with too much content on one screen and distracting them from the main learning. You'll also find within the start of each chapter a set of learning objectives. This ensures that the content is broken down into manageable chunks with clear signposting to the student. Revel works on all devices, including tablets, mobiles, and laptop. So if I make the screen smaller, you'll see that the content changes and adapts to the size of my screen. Engaging students is a good start, but reading and watching video can still be a passive process. Revel takes the learner further by making reading a more active process. They read a little and do a little. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. In this section, students are being introduced to organisational cultures. They're shown the competing values framework, but this isn't a static diagram. Students can engage with this diagram to better understand its meaning. After that, they're asked to do an interactive exercise. This is a drag and drop exercise. So they put all their answers in and submit to see how they did. And they can reset them and retry this until they fully understand the concept. Activities like these are embedded in the narrative and help the students to reinforce their learning by requiring them to recycle and apply their knowledge in a different context. Doing this helps them to remember it for longer. We've worked with subject experts to identify the concepts where these interactive activities are best placed and most useful for learners. They might be ones which students typically struggle with, or those things that are most critical to an overall understanding of the subject. Regular short quizzes, like the one on the screen, with instant feedback are placed throughout Revel, and these reinforce learning by helping students to see whether they've understood concepts, or if they need to do a bit more reading. As a lecturer, you can edit, amend, or delete quiz questions to tailor it to your teaching. You can also use course settings to change the scoring policy. So if you want to make quizzes worth fewer or more points, that's completely possible. Finally, Revel also includes 2 types of short writing activities designed to encourage students to reflect on their reading whilst also practicing their writing skills. The first type of question is a journal question. This one is, how important are values in management? These questions aren't graded automatically. Instead, they're designed to encourage your students to reflect on their reading and make learning more meaningful. You will be able to see individual responses in the dashboard. Where possible, we've included questions of this type designed to really prompt critical thinking. The second type of writing question is a shared writing activity. Here a student will submit their response and will then be able to see their fellow students' responses. Much like a discussion board, they can then reply and comment on each other's posts. This activity is normally awarded 20 points for completion, although you can change this. Revel also includes features such as highlighting and notes, which are popular with students, especially when preparing for teaching or revising. As a lecturer, you can share your notes, so students see your notes and highlights. You might do this to prompt a discussion or highlight a significant section of content. As a lecturer, Revel provides you with actionable data so that you can see, at a glance, who is and who isn't engaging with their reading and which topics they're struggling with. This is the performance dashboard. The assignments tab shows you how many students have completed each individual assignment. An assignment can comprise of a number of chapters and tests or activities, depending on what you've set, and what the average score is for each assignment. This might show that your students are struggling with a particular topic, or it would show whether all students are prepared for your upcoming lecture. The histogram at the top of the screen then shows the class average score, which is the average of all the individual assignment averages. The Students tab provides a list of all of the students in your Revel course. The Trending column shows whether a student's performance has improved or worsened over the last 5 assignments. It also shows when the student last signed in and the average points they've earned on all completed assignments to date. As before, the histogram at the top shows the average score of all students, which is the average of the individual average scores. You can look in more detail within an individual assignment. This will show you, for example, the average time spent on the quiz and the average scores within that particular quiz. If you click into the quiz itself, you'll see even more detail. So for each question, you'll see the percentage of students who answered a question correctly, and also whether they did that on the first attempt, the second attempt, the third attempt, or not at all. And also if students didn't attempt the question. If you've set a shared writing assignment, you can then see all of your student responses in the dashboard. And finally, within the dashboard, you have the ability to download scores. You can download by assignments. This provides a list of each student and how many points they earned for each assignment. Or you can download the assessments. This provides a list of each student and how many points they earned per assessment within an assignment. So for example, how many points per quiz, per journal entry, per drag and drop, etc. In the UK, Revel courses are being designed for subjects including marketing, strategy, organisational behaviour and biopsychology. To find out more, contact your Pearson representative.